like any young kid growing up in Texas, I had restaurant jobs in high school. It's not really a means to an end, but an opportunity to not ask mom and dad for money for beer and cigarettes. And then in the process of that, you actually end up falling in love with it. When I was 13 to when I was 17, I was a competitive soccer player in Texas, and we would play on this team and travel abroad, and I'd leave Dallas and eat amazing food in Europe. And it was the first time that I'd kind of, because at that time in Dallas, probably in the in the early 90s, the food scene was lobster taco, and there wasn't really refined food that I was aware of, and I'd had it abroad, and I came back and I would tell my parents about it, and you'd see cooking shows and how they were doing it, so I'd start playing a little bit at home with that. And then moving on to college, I worked for an amazing French chef. Gabriel was a guy classically trained, came to Texas, he had married an American. It was a great experience for me because it was one of those just old school places that we made our chef. We made our own chef. We made everything in-house. And I got this foundation, I think, of classical French training. And as I started law school, my first trimester of law school, it was, man, I don't want to be a lawyer. I mean, my dad's a lawyer. My grandfather's a lawyer. They're all lawyers in Texas. And I had this meeting with my father. And, Dad, I can't do this. He's like, run. There's enough lawyers there. Do what you want to do. So I moved to France, and I cooked in Rouen, and really got most of my experience, and really the bug then, because Gabriel's like, don't go to culinary school. Go kill yourself, work for nothing, get abused, beat up. You'll decide then if you really want to do it. And there was no work looking back. So I do the typical chef things. You work for great people. You work for Colicchio, you work for Keller. You put in your time. I worked for Nobu, and then what got me to Nashville was I was at this point in my life with my wife that I'd been there, done that. I'd cooked in LA, I'd cooked in New York City, I'd cooked in Hawaii, and we were kind of looking to do our own thing. And this unique opportunity came out of Nashville, where here's an untapped market that has got an amazing music scene, and it's a music scene that's not country music. I mean, it's the Black Keys, it's Jack White, it's Robert Plant, and nobody had really taken over the food scene there, and I partnered up with these guys to do what we've got going on in Nashville right now, which is, I have a sushi restaurant at Virago and this little boutique steakhouse and a gastropub and tavern, and I ended up there because of the opportunity, the people, and I guess at that point in our life we were just ready to not go so hard. For me, it was a great challenge to maybe kind of be an evangelist with food in a sense. And in the South, and Nashville's not the South, it's mostly people there now are people like me who lived somewhere else and found it to be a great community. And so we kind of, M Street's kind of this old-fashioned culinary tent revival in a sense that we get to bring flavors and things and techniques and stuff to a big town, and they're embracing it, and I find it's really exciting.
Give me some love, give me some, I want you to know. Give me some love.
Those things are great because, I can't, if it wasn't for, the first part of Food Network when it blew up Emerald and those guys, if it wasn't for them, those guys provide an opportunity for me today that I could do things that I could never do before. But they don't show the cook or the chef having to reach his arm into a disgusting grease trap to pull something out while service is going on. It's a little more glamorous than it really is. It's funny all the time that, we have open kitchens in our restaurant and we're sweeping, and you have people at the food bar and you love to interact with your guests, and you're saying, yeah, this is the part you didn't see on the food channel, like the mopping and the sweeping of the place. Young adults will go into chef thinking they're going to be a celebrity. I think the celebrity part they should know comes from hard work and separating maybe yourself from the guy next door and a break. And I think you also as a chef have to decide that's a path that you're interested in too, because you don't have to do that. You can cook. You can own one restaurant. There's an idea. And just cook there every day too.
Where to be?
It's funny. I don't know why, and it's always been this way, but my day starts with an egg and it ends with an egg. Because my day starts early in the morning, because, the unglamorous part about being a chef is the administrative stuff, the office stuff. I try to get in before a lot of other people get in so I can use my time wisely. And, you roll through, and then at the end of the night, it's like, it's 2 a.m. I'm going to put an egg on something to make it taste good. For me in Nashville, it's waking up, and, I have a problem with coffee, and I love coffee, and we have an amazing little place called Crema in Nashville. And the guys are really, really, really just so sincere in what they do at Crema, and I started with that. Then generally for me, because of the amount of restaurants that we have at the moment, my midday ends up kind of like my test kitchen, in the sense that I'm constantly working on stuff to implement in the other menus, on the new menus in the other restaurants. So it's really hard for me, like, to ask a chef, what's great in Nashville? Well, I've been there a little over a year and a half, and I'm so busy working on what we're doing. I only really eat when I'm out of town. What we do have is hot chicken, and I love the hot chicken, which is, really the only thing I think that Nashville may be sort of familiar for. And for people that don't know that, it's fried chicken that essentially, if you have a lot of people, you think of marinating it, buttermilk, flouring it, frying, they put it in hot sauce. And they fry it, they put it on a white, like a piece of Texas toast and a pickle. There's no vegetable, there's no accoutrement, it's fried chicken, and I love that. And we also have a little meat the greens, just some soft meat. It's all meat that's just had the bejesus cooked out of it till it falls apart and has a lot of flavor, and something's got vinegar in it. And that would be, I love meat and threes, but you know what? If I eat a meat and three now, I'm done till 4. The nighttime for us is just the simple things. We'll go to City House and just sit up and eat a wood-fired margarita pizza, have a great glass of wine, take it easy, because as a chef and you're always trying to do new food and do stuff exciting for your guests, that it's kind of the last thing you want. I finish it up that way. A lot of times my wife and I will go out to eat, and I'll even get back to work. I'll get back to work, maybe get back in the office, maybe get back in the kitchen, and then I'll finish up at home something with an egg. I mean, it's always something with an egg, or it's either, if you look at my fridge, it's a ridiculous amount of condiments, olives, cheese, beer, and a cured meat. I mean, that's what I have. That's all I have in my fridge. Stupak's place at Beyond, I'm really excited about trying that. As a chef, for me, I'm inspired by the street food. I'm inspired by flavors of the street. I'm inspired by traveling, and it could be a little hawker stand or a guy in Vietnam who does noodles only on Wednesday, and that's really what inspires me. And I really pay close attention to that. For me to pay really close attention to, let's say, what Danielle just opened in town, or what Eric Repair's up to, or David Chang, those guys are brilliant, and I think I try not to pay too much attention to them, because it changes my mortality rate, I think, in the business. It's very competitive, and I appreciate what they do, but at the same time, I try to keep things a little closer to home and a little closer to being less refined, and taking that and applying them in our restaurants. It can be anything, for me. I'm generally inspired by nostalgic things. It could be something as simple as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I'm also inspired by what I see on TV, or what I read in a book, or what was great years ago. We just opened this kind of little boutique steakhouse, and the thought of, a shrimp cocktail. I'm sure at one time a shrimp cocktail was probably great. I don't know what's happened in the last 30 years. Probably it's a technical thing where we don't poach shrimp the way we're supposed to, the way we come about cocktail sauce. And I think about those things, and what inspires me is to maybe think about a shrimp cocktail for tomorrow, and how we can make it better and make it not a bad word anymore, and give it some legitimacy. But I'm inspired by the season, and as a chef, I can only be inspired in Nashville about what's available to me locally, or that I can have, maybe flown to me in a reasonable amount of time. But I'm always inspired by the seasons, inspired by what's available at that moment.